We're preparing our school project for our first Steam launch. Originally, I made this game with my friends at university just to get a good marks on the course. Then the results went beyond just that. We received lots of great feedback from many people playing our game, and it also became a global trend on Unity Play web games. In this video, I'll be covering how we built our game from the course project until our plans towards our first game launch. This HQ, Computer Science, Game Design and Development course, or we call it COM 3329. This is the only course that teaches game development in HQ. That's it, only one course. A little background of this class is that you just need to make a game. The assignment is that either you just work it solo or you work with 6 members in maximum, and you have 3 months to build a game from scratch. And then for the grade, it's basically based on creativity, techniques applied like AI or audio or visual effects and gameplay design, and also the player experience. Basically, does it feel good to play? And then our professor Chim said that we're looking for primitive games where you may apply the techniques learned as much as possible. But honestly, we wanted to make something that people would actually want to play. Because that's the point of making games, right? We want to create something unique, not just the same game as the last year. Like, do we just remake Flappy Bird and then get a really good grade into the course? Of course not. We need to make something unique to impress our professors and also our friends in taking this class too. So, the first thing we need to do is basically past projects analysis. Search on the Google COM 3329 and then it shows up this Facebook page showcasing all of the past projects created by students taking COM 3329 in the past few years. So by looking at this past project analysis, I came up with this one solution: don't copy them. What do you mean, don't copy them? The same thing like I previously mentioned, that you don't just try to copy entirely into your own project. You're trying to make something different, right? Basically, you don't want your professors to think that, oh, you're just copying Overcooked, oh, you're just copying Flappy Bird into your game. And that's a big L for creating video games. So don't copy them. We must be better. So the game name is called Sicarius. It has 2 different meanings. The first one is assassin and the second one is spider. And then the first one we did first is to try to think of the concepts. So our main inspirations are from these 3 great titles like Stray, Hades and Carrion. We take a huge reference from Hades, which is a top-down roguelike game, because personally we want to make a really engaging game, something that looks really cool to present during the COM 3329 game presentation. So we thought that by creating an action game will appeal a lot to our viewers. So Hades is basically our main inspirations. And for Story and Carrion, it's not because how you play, but it's because of this animation called this procedural animation or inverse kinematics. As you can see from Story and Carrion, it looks really fluid, like the animations, like wow, how can you actually do it in terms of coding? Because since this course is a computer science project, so technical comes first. And it's also in our grading criteria. So if we do this kind of things, then it will be the first group that makes this kind of project. And if we do that, then of course we can really have a good grade in the course. And then the second reason is that one of our members are really obsessed with these inverse kinematics things. So what inverse kinematics do is that you have a point and then you also have a rig, and then you have to move this point, and then that rig will just move by itself using our own script in order to reach this destination, which is the point. And also, of course, it's really hard to code in terms of coding, right? Because we're still new, and then luckily one of our programmers is really good in this kind of stuff. I mean, he's really good in coding, and he said that it's really possible to create this game because it's really easy, and he told me to do it.
You gotta go and Nicknation is sorry.
The next one is that after we have these kind of concepts is that we have to go deeper. So we have Story and Carrion. So What we came up first is basically the spider, the 8-legged creatures that's going to be looking really good in terms of these inverse kinematics features. So we try to look up for many references. So we look at these visuals from different kinds of game prototypes created by some YouTubers. And also we took some reference on this top project game just to see how it should look like, the isometric of this perspective, and also the UI design, and also the art design looking like low poly contrast color. After that, we move on into our game ideation. We start off by creating this player concept art first, and then we also do some sketches for our enemies. So this one is the really early prototype of our ideas. And also we think of some of the workflows for our game, especially the scenes, like from the main menu and then the inventory, level selections, which we didn't actually do it, and also how the game looks like, and then the cutscene, and then the end of the scene. So after we have these clear ideas on our game, it all leads to task distribution. The first thing we need to do is, of course, this COM2029 task. We have this game plan presentation, project proposal, game trailer, poster, and project report. And after that, we also need to consider of doing all of these programming tasks: the player character control, player character skills, player inventory system, and then the player start system. Of course, we're gonna need it because it's an action game, right? The enemy AI is really crucial for action game, because if there's no AI, that is really boring, right? And then the last one is the procedural map generator. And of course, this should be enough for our COM329 project because it's just a programming course, right? But in order to appeal to our professors and also the other students taking this class too, of course we need to do this kind of non-programming task, which is also crucial when you want to publish it as a commercial game, right? So what we need to do is this 3D modeling. We also need to do these level designs. That time we plan to do 6 dungeon rooms and 1 boss room. The game UI designs is also crucial to have this sort of first impression in our game. And then the game menu design is basically what players sees when they start up the game. Particle system and also visual effects, these are also crucial to give the juiciness on our game. Lighting is also crucial to lift up the mood of our game. Sound effect is also for the giving the sort of player feel, like the giving the output of the game. Soundtrack, this is to lift up the mood of our game, to just to make sure that our player doesn't feel too bored when play our games. And then of course the cutscene is actually optional, but we wanted to do cutscene for the boss introduction and also the game introduction too as well. For our case, it all started with this 3D art workflow. The first thing we need to do is the art concepts. We need to sketch up our character first before we move on to this 3D modeling, which we did on Blender. And after we have this 3D modeling, of course, we need to do some rigging, which is essential for us to do some sort of animations and inverse kinematics features in our game. And after we done this rigging, we just basically export it to Unity to do some programming and also deploy it into our builds. While waiting for these 3D models to be completed, of course, we as programmers, we can just continue working on the game without having the final 3D model first. We can just basically took out from the internet, from Unity Asset Store, use it as a placeholder model, so we can start coding on the inverse kinematics. And also we can start working on how the characters shoot the enemies, and also how these enemies move into towards ourselves, and also different kinds of guns, and also the skills that we have, the potion skills, the cold shot skills, and also the teleport skills. And after that, we have to code one by one for different kinds of enemies. So the first one is Fister, and the second one is Shooter, and the third one is Bomber. These 3 enemies have their own scripts because these enemies have different ways of attacking. So that's why we split up into 3 different scripts to make us easier. Of course, for the boss fight, it has different scripts too as well, because it has 7 different kinds of attacks and also a different health bars, different armor. So we have to separate the scripts between these enemies and also the boss just to make it more easy. So these are just the prototype when creating the boss fight, and after we have the prototype, then we just basically move on to the visual effects. And we didn't forget to create this level generation and design, because of course Hades has this level generation. So we create this level generation just by creating several rooms, and we add a new script in order to combine different kinds of rooms into a different combination of our levels. So every time player runs the game, the level design will become different. And then hooray! We finally finished our programming task. But wait, we actually haven't finished our game because our game doesn't look really good yet. So we need to give visuals into this game. Like I said before, this UI design is really important for the first impression when seeing the game. So with this kind of simple UI design, we have these player icons, the health bar, and also the armor bar. And we also have this pause button. And also we have these small UIs for these guns and also the skills, which the players can click on them and then use those guns or skills into the game. Of course, we're gonna change these UI designs during our Steam release. The best tool I would recommend is Figma, but if you don't have any skills on Figma, then you can just use Canva like this PPT. Juiciness is also important for our games, right? So we have to do this particle system, visual effects, especially for this character death, bullets, teleport, poison, hit areas, and lighting, and then the sound effects, soundtracks, and also cutscenes. And after that, we finish our game. Yes, we finally finished our game. So we have the results, we have the posters, we have this amazing screenshot of our game, and also we have the build of our game running on our potato laptop. And after that, we did some presentation during the Com329 course, and we got a lot of great feedbacks during that time. And also for the results, the grade is really good. 5 out of 5 for our progress report, 36.05 out of 35 for our final submission, and 4 out of 5 for our project proposal. Like, bro, why is so low? But anyway, our journey doesn't end like that. We did some showcase on this HQ9 Inno show, which is basically an engineering student project showcase to a lot of students from different faculties, and also some professionals can come in and then take a look at your projects. And also this showcase have some voting system, so if you have a lot of votes, then you can win an award. And that time we got around 22 votes, and it was really close for us to win the actual prize. And after that, why don't we just release on the global internet? Yeah, of course, we have our game on this HQ Inno Wing site, and also we released our demo on itch.io and also Unity Play. And also we did some promotional posts just in case people wants to subscribe or follow our Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Twitter or X, and also Reddit. And also if you're watching this video, please consider to give a like and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's really helpful. And anyway, we did this kind of things, release our demo and also promotional posts. And then the one thing that I want to mention is that our team promised that after this course ends, we're going to continue working on this game, because we want to release it on Steam, because why not? This game already looks really good, right? And so we did some promise on that, and then what happened next is that we actually stopped working on this game. So we had a lot of issues, so basically because 2 of our members are graduating at that time, so they also stopped working on this game. And then 2 of our members too as well, they just joined this project because they just want to get a really good grade as a grade booster, and then after the course end, they just left our project. So it's all left into 2 people in this team, me and Kok, so it's really hard for us to continue this project. So basically at that time, on April 2024, we've officially announced that our team has given up working on this project. On November 2025, we saw a little bit of light. Remember that I mentioned that we released our game on Unity Play. So we checked out on Unity Play and we saw our game, how did it perform, and it actually performed really well. First most popular game on Unity Play Winter Showcase 2024 out of 334 submissions. Basically, we are the #1 game in Unity Play during this showcase. And also we have more than 23,000 total plays. And then we got featured on Unity Play's website Action Journal. So if you take a look by yourself by googling Unity Play and then you go to the website, And the first thing you see on this page is our game, Sicarius, HQ Student Project. And also we got 59 likes, which is also considered a lot. Also we got a lot of positive feedbacks and also a good critique for our game. So after seeing this, my mind went really blank actually, because I started to consider back on whether I should working on this game again or not, because I have this kind of mindset. Why abandon your small unfinished project that has the potential to make millions of dollars? Because you see the game performs really well in this demo, right? So just imagine yourself creating this game more into something greater, and then you publish on Steam, and then you don't know whether you're gonna make millions of money or not, and also you don't know how much players going to play your game, right? So it has a lot of potential. So that's why Cock and I decided to continue this project. We start announcing our continuation on November 2025 by promoting on LinkedIn, Discord, and YouTube. And also we did some recruitment posts on Reddit and also Discord servers, recruiting more members, especially on the level designers, concept artists, UI designer, animator, 3D modeler, and programmer, so many more. We have a lot of people join our project and are working together, and until now we have 12 active members currently working our game. We have some game programmers, UI designers, 3D modelers, and etc. And our current progress, I would say, is around 15 or 20%. For the COM329 itself, I would say it's just 10% because it's just a small project, right? So for now, I would say it's just 15 until 20% because we still have a long way to go, because of course we want to create a lot of new stuff. As the project grows and we have a lot of new members coming to our projects, of course project management is really important for us to keep up in sync. So we have our own Discord servers for these development servers, and we have our own Discord forum channel to create this kind of to-do list. So each to-do list will be assigned to different programmers or different artists or different animators. And also we have our own timeline being put in Notion just to keep on track on our schedules, just in case. So people will have this sort of ideas on what are we working on right now, and also what are we going to do next. And of course, game design document is really important, just in case if we have a new member join our project during this middle development, and just in case these new members have no idea on what we are doing. So with this game design document, they can just read everything: the game mechanics, Unity code documentation, plot story, screenplay, weapons, skills, mobility skills, crafting materials, etc. So people will have these sort of ideas on what the game really looks like later. So for development timeline, we currently working on this early production. Hopefully we finish our early production on April 2026. It is expected for us to have our some of the core mechanics done by April 2026, and also a new level. After that, we're gonna shift into full production, which is where we're gonna add new features and also more content on our game, like more levels, more enemies, more bosses. And also, while the full production is ongoing, we're also going to start our marketing for this game. And on April 2027, we're gonna start polishing and also some QA, just in case there's bugs or some features that need to be tweaked. And then we're hoping for our launch and release on September 2027. So yeah, we still have a long way to go in this project. So that's basically the end of my videos. So if you're interested in playing our game, make sure to wishlist our game on Steam, because who knows whether you're gonna actually play our game or not later on September 2027 after we release our game. And also, if you're interested more in our contents, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe our channel to follow up more on our upcoming contents, devlogs, and also more contents basically. This is the end of the video. I'll see you again on the next video.